especially for Summer Seed. Best of 5 victory today to give themselves a chance, but right now, if the betting market's open, it would be that BBQ Olivers will be the first team going to Challenger.
That's one angry chicken, or rooster, I guess, but either way, they would desperately like a win. Going 2-16 is not a good mark on your record, and also, we did have that trivia point that it's usually, since 2017, the 9th place team from LCK makes it through, and then the 10th place team goes down. And currently, MVP was in 9th, BBQ was in 10th. We'll see if that does repeat itself here. Max, bring me the Scion support.
Yeah.
I like it too. I like this guy's style.
Quadra kill Scion support. Good times would roll if that was to happen. I'd be up for some Scion. MVP, dial it back. Where's my Syndra Scion Rek'Sai comp?
Yeah.
That's what got them to Rift Rivals. What a fall, right? Rift Rivals to potentially relegation in just over a year and a half.
Yeah. See if it happens. Looking for the Bard here. Is this friendly fan?
Oh, but Key's not playing today, and Key was,
Max
of course,
is playing.
The ESC Ever support way back when, now on Hanwha Life Esports. Ignore, I'd be down for the Bard. A magical journey would be something we would appreciate today in this losers match. The best of 5 is the new part, guys. It was a best of 3 last season. It is a best of 5 now. Let's get it rolling, Valdez.
Ready to jump into game number 1, pick ban. Of course, BBQ on blue, or red rather. They did choose that one. MVP starts on blue.
Well, we're wondering about what traditions will extend to the Riot era, and I hope calling this the losers match is something that will continue. Very, very Korean choice.
Aww.
The losers match here between MVP and BBQ. Best of 5 on patch 8.17. Only one champion is disabled, is the Nunu and Willem. Unfortunately, they may be having a lot of fun in that champion trailer, but no fun to be had on the Rift from them.
It's pretty fun in ARAM, too. You just run it down the mid one lane with your giant AP snowball.
Well, Ignor's just taken 3 bans, so I hope he doesn't run it down mid, because he loves to play his playmaking. 3 bans now. A lot of respect for Ignor, the playmaker du jour from BBQ.
Whoa. Never heard that word in my life before. What does it mean, Papa?
Du jour means of the day.
Oh,
French.
okay. Du jour?
Yeah, du jour.
Okay. I'll practice that. I know you're the French master of this cast. But, yeah, thinking about some picks here. It's not going to be Ivern. Would be surprised to see Ornn as well.
The Varus would make a lot of sense.
Out.
We've seen so many Varus bans this week. Is this our first Varus? It might be. I feel like it's been banned every game of this tournament.
Maybe.
So Varus is there, but Ashe is there to answer it. So we're going back to old meta now. Engage supports. That usually means that we can get some damage dealers on the top side, so that will be welcomed. We didn't mention this in the of the 4 points, but the other big thing to remember is that MVP always beats BBQ. Even back in the day when it was the promotion tournament, everyone hyped about ESC Ever finally making it to the LCK. They lost to MVP in the grand finals of that Challenger final as well. So traditionally, it's been heavily favored MVP. BBQ Olivers, I'm a big fan of this draft, and here's what I'll say. BBQ Olivers' biggest weakness has been closing games. Sometimes they get run over because the enemy team's better, that happens, but when they're winning, they haven't been able to close games. One good way to close games to get a lot of engage and fight. If everyone has an initiating ability, someone will use their ultimate, and that will start a fight. So I'm a big fan of starting off with Ashe Arrow and also the Sejuani ultimate, because that is the sort of thing that allows you to finish games. There's the same reason that Malphite and Amumu were the silver gods back in the day, because fighting and starting a fight is not always the easiest thing.
Unfortunately for them, with all the engage they pick up, they're going against the anti-engage champion in the Tom Kench that was hovered by Trick there for a moment, trying to say, hey, I know you're probably going to pick this. We don't care. We want Sejuani instead. They pick up Braum as well. Ashe Braum, good in the bottom side. That's a cute little Ignar.
As a side point, and there is, of course, a photo of Ignar as well, have you noticed that Skarner's picture kind of looks like he's hugging someone?
I realize, yeah.
He's supposed to be threatening, but I choose to think he's looking for hugs. I hear that hidden passive where he talks about Skarner and being the last of his kind. But it is a good pick for Yondu. He has shown a bit of aggression. I think Skarner has been a bit unexplored in recent times, so Cool to see him on the Rift. This matchup doesn't do so well for the Skarner around a Drake or a Baron, because Sejuani just ults him and then smites away the objective, but in other cases can be a nice moment for the Skarner. Speaking of nice moments, we mentioned damage dealers on the top side, and we now have GP and Darius banned out. In the second round, we're running out of top lane carries, especially before things like Fiora buffs come in future patches.
How about the battle of the Camille's in the top lane?
Yeah.
Both of them infamous in recent times. Crazy, of course, inting by himself. ADD had a rough time in the matchup up against Battle Comics on the Camille.
Gnar is open and might be consistent. Gnar, Camille, Cannon is up. These are not normally seen recently with more damage dealer AD carries rather than the utility ones like Ashe and Varus. Irelia are going to be banned as well. Where will the blind pick coming? Will it be a mid lane blind pick or a top lane blind pick for BBQ? I think Tempt is usually the person you want to give the last pick, but sometimes he just says screw it and picks Azir. Azir is open, but he's going to hold on to his mid lane pick for a while if they just go for the tried and true Ornn.
Does get interesting if they go for the Ornn. You're getting a third tank, basically. Hey. So they're going to swap it right at the last second over to Temp's Azir.
That's what I was talking about. Give me the Azir. Give me a man who can engage and can also go for some team fight. So BBQ say, we're not going for any tricky comps. We're going for all-in engage. Fan of that one. MVP have plenty of engage themselves. How about more? What happens when 10 engaged champions hit the Rift? We'll find out, hopefully.
I like that. I like that idea, at least. Vel'Koz.
He doesn't really engage, but it is a good matchup into the Azir.
He does damage.
True, and it's the matchup.
Something I know.
He also sees the Emperor's Divide and says, I'm going to ult you now, and doesn't get disengaged by it. So definitely the sort of matchup where if Tempto engages, goes all in, you can actually find a good lane against the Vel'Koz. But previous to that, you get poked out. We'll see if it's the Glacial Augment Vel'Koz that's been played around the world. Cool. From over in the LPL was the first one. I saw do it, and they saw the Ornn flashed, and they say, we also need a lot of initiation. I'm a big fan of Ornn Skarner because it creates general disarray for the right suppression to be applied by the Skarner. And now we just want to see the final pick here from BBQ. Here's always a question that the answer's been no to a lot in the second round robin, but yes to in the first round robin. Is it safe to play the Mundo?
Up against the Ornn, I suppose so. You've got to wait a little bit. Obviously, Skarner early game, especially after 6, can have some, good ganks up in the top side, especially if Crazy does push in with all of the CC that Ornn has alongside all of the CC that the Skarner has. You can definitely put 2 and 2 together, or just 1 and 1 together for the 2-on-1 gank in the top side. But still, you look at the side of BBQ, you were talking about it before, the Ashe Arrow, Sejuani, they have a couple of their own tools to make these fights happen.
Very difficult for this game to be stalled too much just because there's so many ultimates that one missing due to a misexecution should just be the invitation for the enemy team to throw 3 back. So hopefully, once the early farming is over, there could be a lot of action. Excited about how this one can go. Both junglers have had better days than their matches against Battle Comics and also Dumb One Gaming. Yondu especially. We kind of need to send out an RSVP and hope to see the return of the guy who looked so promising when he first came into the LCK.
Yeah, definitely had a bit of a struggling time here when we saw him going up against Battle Comics, but hoping that that all changes around. He's up against Trick this time on Fleek. We were talking about him from Battle Comics, second on the ladder right now in Challenger. Definitely one of the up-and-coming top junglers here in Korea. Maybe he'll have a little bit of an easier time against Trick's more passive Sejuani on his own Skarner.
Feels like MVP with 1 or 2 items will have the lead, but great options for BBQ with that Mundo scaling. Let's just load into it. Could be a short series, could be a really long one. You never know with MVP and BBQ.
Should be a fun one regardless. Let's jump into game number 1, MVP versus BBQ. Never mind.
Put that water bottle away. No, you poured it all over your iPad.
I know. Oh, no.
You can't see your notes.
And this is how we begin the podcast. No, it looks like we have a pause, guys. Not sure what the reasoning is. Tempt is really frustrated.
he was going to get to play Azir. It gets banned against him a lot, so I'm sure he was really hyped to finally play some Azir. But the Azir will be averted for now. Been a fun morning. Tracking the Pros is suddenly popping off on Twitch.
Yeah, I love this time of year, man.
You know, it kind of feels like if you're a League of Legends caster, the Christmas, you know, because
yes,
Christmas season's here. Tracking the Pros has more than 1,000 viewers. That means people are here. Always really fun.
So the white noise was too loud for someone. Who's the culprit?
Well, you know, it's something that can be tweaked. So we do invite you to multi-Twitch and bring out the Tracking the Pros and also the LCK promotion tournament. Especially now, while we're in the pause.
It's just so much fun, you know, you get everybody together. It's like holiday season, right? The whole family's back together. All the best players from around the world playing League of Legends for you every single day on Twitch.
But they always come to Korea because of Korean solo queue, but now everyone has to come. So we actually have everyone coming, which means it's a real family reunion. Turns out the great aunts and uncles made it this year. Everyone is around. You get those fun moments where ambition doesn't carry Sneaky to a victory, and you just have all those things, the sentences that sound like just people being hopeful for a game that would never happen just become reality. Was watching KT have a lot of fun. Turns out Score is training as Camille, maybe inspired by OnFleek, being on point with that in earlier days.
Hey, you get a couple early ganks, things are going to go well for you on Jungle Camille, but I was watching a game, there were 6 Afrika Freaks players in the same game. I don't even know how that's possible.
I mean, usually there's 10 because they just play internal scrims all the time.
But this was just solo queue. There were 5 of them on the same team. I think it was like Summit and Jelly were in there as well, you know, some of the subs. And then on the other team, there was 1. I think it was only Tucson on the other team, which is really sad for him, playing with 4 randos against, you know, a big combination of his entire team.
But, you know, don't you have that feeling where, you know, on Tracking the Pros where you vote for which game you want to watch?
Yeah.
If it's like 19 minutes in and it's like super stacked team versus no team, the super stacked team almost always loses. That's what I find. They almost always lose. If you get 3 or 4 KT members in the same team, they lose. I assume it's just, you know, everyone's having a fun
too
time.
much fun.
Yeah. Flaming each other on comms. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But, yep, Tracking the Pro is going to be fun. We're going to need something, right? After tomorrow, there's going to be no other Korean League of Legends professional play to watch.
You know what the other really fun part is? Seeing the, you know, the big streamers that are on big teams at the same time. So, like, Sneaky comes over, Double Lift, right? And they're all playing, and they're playing with Koreans that like to interact with them with their not-so-great English, but it's always so much fun.
Did you say interact or interact?
Int.
Okay, that's interesting.
No, just int.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, you get a bunch of really fun stuff that happens, you know, Koreans trolling them, or, you know, just interacting with random D1 players on the ladder.
I am your fan. I am your big fan. Always really fun with that. Well, it's always a fun season here, so enjoying that. But we're going to have to interrupt the fun because I hear there might be an interactive game to be played.
Oh, okay. Should be pretty interesting. I would have to agree.
It's an intriguing one between BBQ and MVP. Nice to have the fan bases here interacting with us compared to Battle Comics and also Down One Gaming. They had a lot of kinks to work out when it comes to some of those fan chants. I'm a fan of Tempt, who's gone for the Easy Hoon skin, rocking the SKT Azir.
You know, he's just trying to make it back into the LCK, where SKT has been for quite a long time. I know there were some people making jokes, poking fun at SKT, saying with all these new challenger teams making it up, how long is SKT going to last? Well, SKT's holding tryouts. They're looking for new players, and I'm going to hold that thought as Pilot and Max might get something going here. Actually, no, never mind.
Yeah, level 1, actually, there's not as much threat as you might imagine. Being the second brush usually heralds an all-in, but not going to be seeing it that time. They had the river brush to know exactly where Ashe and Braum were. Still, everyone backs away. We got double unsealed spellbook supports. This seems to be a new thing, as we're seeing teleport carries. That, of course, has been in and out after the latest teleport nerf. We assume that with the heal being 30-second cooldown less, this, of course, the first tournament where that has been in effect. We'll be seeing a lot more of it, and we are. Just a little bit against expectation. It is going to be the supports rocking it. The AD carries getting everything. Turns out that you can try to nerf AD carries or tweak them, but they always want everything.
They'll never disappear. They'll always make it back. They have too much history in League of Legends.
You know what tilts me the most?
Yeah? What's that?
The 80 carry players who are like, all right, new Essence Reaver sucks. Give us back the old Essence Reaver unchanged. And it's like, yeah, I agree. The new Essence Reaver doesn't really fit many champions. I like the idea, but the actual implementation doesn't work. Can you imagine how broken 80 carry would be if Essence Reaver was there as well? They already get so much stuff with Stormrazor and IE being cheaper and Zeal items being cheaper. Essence Reaver into a cheaper Zeal item would be bonkers power spike with the IE changes. But nope, gotta have all of them. Please give us everything. Just too greedy, Valdez.
Some roles are just greedier than others. That's just the way it is, right? That's
They've
just
always
science.
had a support, you know? They've always had a butler their whole life. How can we be surprised when, in normal life, things are a bit different?
They've just been served hand over foot everything that they want in the lane. It's just not fair.
Could you bring my heal, please? I need my heal.
Yeah. I'm going to bring teleport so I can get my items faster, but you're going to bring my heal. You don't get to have any extra summoners of your own. That's actually mine. You got to heal me. I'm just used to playing in the mid lane where it's all your fault if you lose, and it's only a one-on-one. The true hardcore of League of Legends.
Full disclosure, neither of us are 80 carry mains. Can you tell?
Nobody could tell, of course. I'm not friends with any people who are 80 carry mains.
Whoa!
It's actually true.
Is that your dating profile as well?
Yeah,
no ADC mains.
No ADC mains, sorry. A bunch of bad experiences. I just kind of given up on that sector.
I just play Orianna a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, nobody saw the 5 other games of Orianna that you played where you carried me pretty hard. So
I won that game as well!
Only the game where you did the zoning ult really hard is going to go down in history. All the other ones will be just forgotten.
I won that game. I actually played good.
But only that ult will be remembered. Sorry, Papa.
No.
Should I release the replay of the entire game?
No. It's top secret.
Okay. I'll hold that.
Top men will hold on to it. Don't worry. Top men.
Top men.
Speaking of top men, here's Yondu rolling through the mid lane.
Oh, back to the game. Are we do we have to talk about the game? Okay, here comes Yondu. He's got Predator, but it's his year.
He no longer has Predator.
Yeah. Well, at least he got the E out of his ear. I mean, that's something.
He got us to talk about the game.
That's a cool down.
3-5 minutes. That was pretty good.
He's trying, you know. Yondu was doing a little bit of the meditation, you see, from some of the players we have. Crown, very notably, one of our guys who likes to take a little nap, as the Twitch chat calls it, before the games start.
I'd say Crown is probably the most prominent power napper, in my recollection at least.
I think so.
I feel like if he's on screen pre-game, it's 85 to 90% power napping. One time he wasn't, and that was actually eerie. It was a bit conspicuous that time. But we're just farming out here. Level 6s are needed for most of the engage, but maybe Trick can find something. Don't really know what a successful gank looks like by Sejuani into this Tom Kench Varus, but I guess getting a summoner would be something. Maybe even Max's heal. I'm sorry, Pilot's heal via Max.
Yeah, no, Max doesn't actually get a summoner. He just gets extra summoners for Pilot. That's the way it works. There were a couple of wards that did spot Trick coming all the way down, so actually a wasted ward here by Tempt. Looking for the knock-up, but Tempt is quick on the E. He's going to hop away.
Has there ever been a meta where 80 carries got more from others? Because if you think about it, we get Zeke's Convergence junglers, Knight's Vow junglers, support Spy, and take Unsealed Spellbook for more for the 80 carry. I guess the mid lane meta's not quite Karma Orianna, so we're not quite 100% there. Yeah. But Azir usually stands next to his 80 carry if he's not going all in for an engage. So we're pretty close, you know? We're pretty close to critical mass. Every time a new utility item comes out, the 80 carry is like, ooh.